So, everybody, we start a pledge of allegiance from North. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so we could have now in 5 minutes. I had to put up 5 minutes. We'll do welcome to introductions. There's a lot of people from the public here today, so we're going to go around and just tell our names, your position, and get your names too for the record.
Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development for the town.
Charlie McDowell, I'm the chairman of the commission.
Sam Goldstein, I'm a commissioner.
Sam Cargill, I'm a commissioner.
Hunter Dean, Vice Chair.
Chelsea Garth, I'm the curator over at the Fairfield Museum.
Welcome, Chelsea. Thank you.
Me too.
Go around,
Member of the public.
Yeah.
Michelle Hermson, K through 12 Art Department Coordinator for the town of Fairfield.
Katie Lang, I'm Commissioner, and I work at the Quick Center for the Arts at Fairfield University.
Kevin Gosselin, Commissioner.
Adam Weisblatt, I'm a teacher at the studio of Fairfield.
I think we know your son.
Karen Kent Craig. I'm a Fairfield resident and artist.
Cool.
Hi, and I'm Lisa Zoba, Fairfield resident as well.
Nice. Well, thank you, everybody, for the introductions. We have the minutes that were handed out to everybody. Oh, she can introduce herself. She just came in. We just did introductions, Lou.
I'm Lou. Hello.
And she's a secretary on the commission. And I'll give the names so they're on the record.
Okay, great.
Okay, approval of the minutes. Lou did another great job on the minutes. I know all the commissioners have received them. I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Right, Sam. Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any questions? No? Okay.
Excuse me for a minute. I will.
Yeah, run upstairs. We'll talk this a little bit. Okay, so we dedicated about 10 or 15 minutes for the next item on the agenda, which is the Artistic Visions Challenge. Sam, you want to start us off? Commissioners, you should have a press release in the packet you had. It'll go out tomorrow.
If you have a chance to read the press release, get familiar with it, I'm going to show one of the items that came up was a more simplified version of what the Artistic Visions Challenge is. So I am going to show this. The Artistic Visions Challenge is a town-wide jury art competition aimed at encouraging young aspiring artists to create art in new and unique ways. New and unique ways is important because we want to change. We want to separate our challenge from others. The purpose of arts education is not necessarily to create professional artists, but to create people who can creatively think, and creative thinkers really have those curious minds that lead to productive lives. It's the participants of ages 11 to 18 who are town of Fairfield residents or registered attendees at a Fairfield town schools. That includes people who come into our private schools. The challenge will be announced at our challenge kickoff event, which is going to be Thursday, December 5th from 6 to 7 at the upstairs at the downtown Fairfield, University of Fairfield bookstore. And we'll talk more about that when Mark comes back. The challenge solution will need to answer the challenge, which we'll talk about later. It needs to be unique or a change to existing art form. We'll show you some examples. And it needs to be original or of human expression and creativity. That way you can use digital to help understand and create, but it can't be your submission. It can't be the solution. So the next thing is some examples, which are recycled materials, phones. On the left, you see phones. On the right, you see computers. Go ahead. Sculpture. This is sculpturing. Dalton is a sculptor who uses the pencil points. There's an idea of perspective of a sculpture. Next. This is drawing, using drawing and real objects. Next. Photography, using real objects and miniatures to create an illusion. Next. Fashion, and then on the right you see that is embroidery to create French toast. Next, we have fabric that creates art. Next, and here are murals, different ways to create murals. We'll see what people come up with. And next, a unique way to existing. They used objects to create the woman with the pearl earring, Magritte, using shells on 3D on paintings and semi-Claes Oldenburg in large pieces. One of the things we came up with is how do you create your own mixed media? Now, this is just a template to give an idea to the students and people who want to get involved. It's like putting 3 columns of different media. So you have visual arts, visual and digital, you have literary and performing, fabric, and we put some together. We just arbitrarily did some. So no, not back, go back. Thanks. Sculpture and poetry is one, film and dance and fibers, or music and quilting, whatever it is that they come up with. Okay, next. Here's one. This is drawing and photography. You can see this is Vincent Ball. He does these great shadows and drawings. Next. This is sound and immersion sculpture. Next. These are 3 different ways. This is photography with fabric and sculpture, food and sculpture and photography. Next. And this is the idea of thinking different, where we have something here, but how do you add to it? You can animate the Michael Jordan. You can actually have a film going on these on the phone skirt and have some spoken word coming out. So we can really build and create something new. One of the other aspects we're doing on January 16th, we're going to have one big artist commune, a get together, a creative input with our participants. Okay, so there'll be a structured creative input with local artists. We'll come together one day. We'll do a round robin. We'll set up possibly figuring out how to set this up. Having 3 minutes at each booth, and we'll separate the artists into what their categories are, and that'll help our participants get together with these artists and really start to develop new ideas, create a higher level, and that's it.
So I'm just saying we keep talking.
Thank you so much. Mark, do you have anything to add? I know there's one part of that presentation you want to speak on.
So we have a press release prepared, ready to go. Should go out tomorrow. We're working with Michelle and Sam, as well as Mary Alice, to spread the word amongst public and parochial schools, art teachers. We're also reaching out to artists to see if they would be willing to volunteer their time to serve as members of our art advisory team, if you will, of this mixer event that Sam is talking about on the 16th. And we're working with the other Sam to see if we can pony up some dollars to provide a nice cash prize for the winner. There are obviously, with anything we do, some expenses with this. I think we can cover some of the logistical expenses on our own through the town budget and other sources. We have secured some in-kind support from Fairfield University in the form of a sponsorship. They're providing the space, they're providing refreshments, they're providing sketch books for artists. So they're doing a number of things for this December 5th event where we will kick off. The idea was we'd announce the theme at that event, and then we'd follow it up, give some time for folks to obviously digest and think about what they might want to do, but then come back on the 16th for this creative mixer with some professional artists to help provide further inspiration, guidance, and support. So that's it in a nutshell. There are definitely so many things that we need to close some loose ends. We don't have a location yet for the January 16th mixer, but I'm working on that. I know we talked about maybe having a guest speaker for December 5th. We're not trying to make this a long program, but if we could find somebody that would really be inspirational to a young person to speak for 5-10 minutes, that would be great. We will, look for all of you to help us with outreach to not only local artists, but also thinking about ways that we can, again, make sure that we get the information out to folks that might want to participate in this competition. So first year, there's always going to be hiccups, I'm sure, but we think it's a great event. I can't thank Sam, Michelle, Lynn Moore, a number of folks that have been part of that team putting this together so far. So I think we're off to a good start.
Thanks, Mark. Do any commissioners have any questions
Yeah.
for Sam?
Are you gonna put that presentation on the website?
We are actually creating a Google class room that we're gonna disseminate to everybody so that it will be there, right?
We're creating a Google slideshow,
That's what she said.
but not a Google Classroom, because if you're not a teacher, you wouldn't have
Okay.
access to that.
Google
So,
slideshow.
Google slideshow, so that we can transfer it to the classrooms really easily.
So it will be here where people can find out.
We will post this slideshow or any other presentation materials on the town's website. We will also post the rules and regulations as well as the application form or any other information with it. So we're working on that.
Great.
this week.
Wait, that's the only question?
But yes, if you see anything else that, you have questions, things that we're not answering directly in some form or another, please let us know. Yeah.
Any of the other commissioners have any questions?
The only question, I think it's great. I like the 3 columns. I think that makes it like really easy for kids to like start thinking like this, because when you read it, it sounds like impossible. Like, what are you even talking about? And you're like, oh, if it's, it's like a menu, very easy. My only question is, do we believe that we need to have the Fairfield, they asked to put Fairfield in the work or the Easter egg? And I'm just asking is like, the more things we have in there, the more it feels like, wow, it's gonna be a big challenge, but you guys have been working on this. I wonder if that's needed.
Needed? I'm gonna say yes, only because adding those things in makes you think on another level, a critical level. The 11 to 14-year-olds are gonna think one way, and the 15 to 18 are gonna think another. Easter eggs, they know that, they've been playing with that for so long. So yeah, it gives them something else to do.
Okay.
From and it separates
We'll
us.
see. I mean, I think, if we get a few submissions in each age group, I'll be very, very happy. But, I think this will be something that we want to build on. So say, lay a good foundation.
And Kevin, in all honesty, if there's pushback, then we'll change.
Well, that's it for that piece.
The other big thing is, can I just, one thing is, December 5th is around the corner, so we really need everyone jumping on this and helping us,
So
get the
in
word
addition
out.
to the press release, it will go in the Arts, Fairfield Arts Commission newsletter, as well as the Selectmen's newsletter, go on social, post the website. We will pay for a post through the Fairfield patch to make sure it elevates us on the list. But again, I think we need to rely upon partners.
This network, and the networking that we will have through our venues.
And Michelle has made, we've got a number of commitments from artists
Yeah.
already. So we've got a number of folks signed up. Thank you very much.
That's great.
Anything
Do
else?
you really foresee any problem with the term Easter, with the religious connotation? Or townwide?
Not in this.
Throwing out there.
Not in this
Just
conversation.
want to make sure it's not.
But thank you.
And the word lit is not for fire. Well, it is, but in a different sense.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Morgan?
Sorry, I had one last question about the 16th. Do you have a certain number of artists you want? Like, do we want different art forms represented?
We are trying to do that.
Okay.
All the variety of art forms, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And certainly I can review the signups already and then let you know, but at this
I
point,
have some people in mind.
kind of at this point, it's like,
It's
we'll
already
take
done.
as many
Oh,
people
okay.
as we
Yeah,
can.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you never knew, who might make some kind of connection.
Yeah, this is yet another way of, getting our community together again, and, and
That's kind of the, the
Does it have
other
to be a
piece of it,
Fairfield
which.
artist?
Fairfield, well, I think we targeted Fairfield artists, but I'm not gonna be like, where do you live,
we're not checking at the door, is that what you're saying?
No.
Or some connection to Fairfield.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think our initial focus is on that because the other part of it is to kind of build that group, that network, and then engage the artist community a little bit further on some of the other things we want to do.
So yes, John Mayer can come. They'll let him. Let him. Fight with him. Anyway.
I just have some artists that works at the quick camps that I'm thinking of, but they don't necessarily live in Fairfield.
If they want to be here on the 5th and the 16th, we're happy to have them.
Okay, Arts and Council District update. I'm sorry, marketing and communications.
Yeah, well, just very briefly, and I'll let Connor and Kevin talk as well from their perspective. We'll have a newsletter dropping next week, and this will be in it, obviously. And, we are starting our artist spotlight series soon, so we'll have some additional content. First artist will be featured in our newsletter, so it includes couple posts on social media, as well as a blog on our website, as well as the newsletter edition. So the idea is to provide added visibility to local artists, and then we'll talk a little bit further about some other things we might do to increase people's profile.
Yeah, I've just been taking more pictures around town to get ready for post. But on the announcement of this, if we're gonna put it on social, and the video, everything, so even if it's Sam, saying, it's not, I mean, even if it's Sam saying like, I mean, it doesn't have to be
You're absolutely right.
fancy, it's just you announcing the contest, hey, I'm Sam, I'm a commissioner, sponsoring this artist contest, can't wait to tell you about it, join us.
Mary Alice talks me into these things all the time.
I mean,
so, yeah.
I think that would be really, it's just gonna perform better than it's.
We will be doing multiple posts on this, and so I think that's a great idea.
I would
Yeah,
vote
whether-
for Michelle too, just
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I would
you're
vote for Michelle first.
in town, and have touched so many lives.
I know Mary Alice would be happy to come over and just do a quick, makes it painless.
If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
How many, anything to add?
No. So the Arts and Cultural District update. I did talk to the Cultural Alliance of Fairfield County, who is our designated regional service provider. Our application will be submitted through them. It hasn't yet been submitted. One of the things I think in talking to Erica Wesley, who's the executive director down there, she did confirm a few things and also talk me through the logistics. I think one of the things that we'll do, and why I asked all of you to kind of respond, provide some information in terms of your bio and look at that matrix I put together, was the cultural district has some specific representation criteria. And there's 3 ways in which you can establish an oversight board, if you will. You can either create a body for that purpose. You can assign it to an existing board, which is the case here. And if the board doesn't have all the representation that the state is looking for, you can augment the membership and put up an advisory subcommittee, which is the direction that we're going. So in looking at that and reviewing it with the cultural district, that's the method we do. So I would probably come back to you at the December meeting to officially establish an advisory council subcommittee and to designate members for that purpose. And so I'll talk to Charlie about how we would do that, but that would be on your agenda in December, as well as our meeting schedule for next year, election of officers and all that good stuff. So that's where we are, and when we do that, then we should be ready to then submit. There is, once it's submitted, I gather if it's complete, it's a fairly quick turnaround to go to the Office of the Arts. But then they'll come in and do a tour. We should anticipate about 2 hours. So we'll she suggested we think through an itinerary for that tour, maybe provide some opportunity for refreshments within the district to talk about their experiences. So there's some prep work associated with that. So we're looking at that probably in mid to late January. Perfect time for a long.
That would be the same January 16th.
Yeah, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, we will, we're gonna schedule it, so we don't have to schedule it. But,
Everyone else.
That would be at our discretion, so assuming they're available.
And now my favorite topic, discussion of the work plan and the budget request.
Well, yeah. So I won't have to bore you with the PowerPoint deck because I won't run upstairs, but I thought, well, Jay, I forgot my laptop, so I'm gonna pass this around. I apologize if there isn't enough copies.
Well, give it to the commissioners first, make sure the commissioners have it.
I would like to, and this will be posted to the town's website. I'm sure all of you. May 13, I think. So if you could share, if there's more than one. With extra. So I'll talk through this briefly. So with thanks to Lynn Moore, who helped kind of coalesce some thinking, and Matt's been working on this as well. So I wanted to go back to our April workshop, and there were some themes, and Matt's talked about them in the previous workshops, and I won't go through all these details, but we heard a lot about creating space for folks to create art, or display art. We also talked about ways in which we can enhance or provide for public art and the establishment of an arts district, which we're working on. We talked about ways in which we could bring the community together, creating opportunities for artists to network with and collaborate with one another, to work across sectors, to engage businesses and schools, the universities, nonprofits, to help integrate art in all aspects of our community, and ways in which we might further engage youth. There was a discussion about raising the profile or awareness of arts in general and local artists in particular, maybe doing some signature events, whether that's an art walk, an art festival, an artist recognition program. There are other ways in which we can also connect artists and help enhance their profile by perhaps doing this digitally, as well as maybe doing some other events that would feature artists and their work. And then the part that Sam and Charlie have talked about, which is, obviously these things cost money. We need to look at ways in which we can advocate for funding, identify partnership or sponsorship opportunities, and grant funding opportunities along the way. And all this has to coalesce in some kind of, overall work plan. So that's what I kind of tried to put together. And this is just, again, for a thought. We can talk about this further at the upcoming meeting. Organizing this in a 5-year plan. I want to focus on maybe the next slide, which is what we're currently doing and how that relates back to some of the things we've heard. Obviously, we're working to establish that culture district. That application should go in before the end of the year. We have done some things to developing that networking opportunity. The artist mixes is a good example of that. This artistic vision challenge obviously is geared towards youth and engaging those young people to pursue their creative talents. And then we've looked at ways in which we can increase the profile for local artists through our marketing efforts, creation of our social media channels, our newsletter. We have an artist spotlight series that we're going to launch. Looking ahead, so this is where we really want to pivot. So I've talked to, we've had some conversations about ways in which we might be able to enhance public art. There's some public art here. One of the things we could easily do is perhaps just inventory it to make sure that we have an idea of what's out there in the public realm. That could lead to maybe a walking tour and maybe some further information about the artist and what gave rise to that particular artwork. There may need to be some discussion about overall policy to help guide what kind of public art we're going to pursue. One of the things I'm working on right now with some very modest funding through our office is the State Department of Transportation has a program that allows communities to sponsor utility boxes and do an aesthetic treatment of it. We do need to apply for a permit. It's all at our cost. Has to be a vinyl installation, so it can't obviously impede the functionality of the equipment, can't be painted. But this is an example of one that was just done in Stratfield by the SBA. SBA. with our help, Stratfield Village Association. So I talked to a local artist in vinyl. We've done some vinyl installations before, like a window treatment, but I have a price, I have a location in mind, at the center of town. Got permission of the parks folks and the first selectman. So the idea is there are these scattered throughout town, and we could celebrate the unique place and provide some historic perspective in some kind of artful, whimsical type way. And that way, you know, you can celebrate what happened in this particular location and really make a statement that way. So it does need to be, I need to get a proof and then submit it to the DOT for their blessing. But there are other things we talked about, like a special banner exhibit, which the Fairfield Arts Council, the 501c3, used to do with our office way back when. We talked about temporary art installations like at the park, whether that's sculpture or some other thing. Murals have been a popular topic over the years. I've talked to different venues about street performances. We have some already, you know, Make Music Day is very popular. We have one coming up in December, but ways we can augment, fill in the calendar a little bit, all of which cost money. And so if, you know, if we wanted to do something, I think one of the things we want to do is make a request as part of the budget making process. You know, and I think we can either build it up from each of these things, like a mural would probably be $20,000–$25,000, depending on the size of it. It could be much smaller. These little art, you know, utility boxes are about $1,500.
That's just for the wrap.
Just for, no, it's for both the design and the wrap. So the thought would be, we would contract with a provider to manufacture and install the vinyl, but then we would do an open call based on locations for artists to submit artwork that would, again, meet certain criteria. Yes, yes, but so the piece that the wrap is about $1,000 or $1,100, and the artwork is about $500, let's say. So there would be, we would pay for both. So in any event, to do this, a couple things. One is we should have somebody on our group that would help lead this, and secondly, we should make a request for funding for this and other work for the commission. And I would, you know, I'm just coming up with a round number in my head, which is, you know, start with $25,000 and see what happens. I don't think that's outrageous. If the boards decide that that's too much, and they cut it back to 15 or 10, we can adjust our expectations accordingly. And
Do we have an inventory of highly visible boxes in town?
I can't stop seeing them ever since you brought up last
yeah, you can just drive around. I mean, I've got a list of several. But the idea, you know, it would be nice to do it in different neighborhoods throughout town. Yeah. And then again, celebrate the unique sense of place, to create a sense of place around that, the artwork, to do that in some kind of fun way with lots of color. You know, I would think that we're doing this, there is sponsored by the Fairfield Arts Commission, so it's an opportunity to, again, get your brand out there and create more awareness about your work. So a lot of different ideas here. I asked Lou and Christine if they would co-lead this, because they came up with some ideas. So when you come up with ideas,
It comes back at you.
but that was a thought. And the other thing I think we want to build on next year is, you know, we've got a lot to work on. We got, assuming we get off to a good start with our vision channel, we'll be doing, you know, year 2 of that. But, you know, further promotion of and creating more visibility for our local artists. Going through the spotlight series, the digital platform doesn't seem like a huge lift to me. Doesn't seem like it's a we have an experienced Fairfield website that currently provides profiles for all of our retail and restaurant shops in town. Also arts and cultural venues. I think we could create either within that arts and cultural subcategory or in a separate category, local artists. There'd have to be a little bit of vetting, but we can work through that. I don't think that's a problem. And that wouldn't be a high cost. And then I know there's a couple things. One is Charlie and I are meeting with the Fairfield Sustainable Fairfield Committee.
Yeah.
That would like to do an art festival around the theme of sustainability, which is kind of cool. The 2026 is the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence. So there's an opportunity to work with the Fairfield Museum and History Center and others around that. And I know we've got charter revision underway, and I've been told that maybe we should redesign our town seal. And I think some people think that the Arts Commission should oversee that effort.
I like that.
And then just looking for, so, you know, I put this out here because I think we've been talking about it, but I wanted it to be in writing so people can look at it. And then we can talk about it in that next month's meeting and hopefully finalize, you know, what we might want to ask for in this year's budget. And, you know, be able to answer the question, well, if we gave you that money, what would you use it for?
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
No questions from commissioners?
Those are okay.
Good job. Mark, so you start with 25,000 and it gets to Board of Selectmen and it goes to the RTM, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta start somewhere, and I think that's a good place to start, because then it becomes part of the budget every year.
Yeah.
It's something, no one takes anything away once it gets started,
Yeah.
you know, and you could build on that and then have this sort of public-private, you know, dynamic.
I think the idea would, we probably want to pitch it to them and say, hey, we'll use this $25,000 to leverage private investment. I know you know that.
Okay, other business. Mark mentioned this briefly. You should have all gotten an email as a commissioner from Julie Sater in the week about, or you should send it to me because I'm.
You're sharing it with everyone.
I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
It just went to the chair, I think.
Okay, yeah, they sent it to different commissions and so they just remind us that, and Mark mentioned this, our December meeting, we have to set our schedule for the following year. I thought you guys should have all gotten it. It would have came on Friday.
From the town.
Yeah, from Julie Sater, and then the attachments from Betsy Brown, the town clerk. And it outlines that we have to come up with our schedule. And last year we talked about doing every month, and then we wound up, every commission I've ever served on, you have 1 month off in the summer, so. Something to think about by the next one. They also have the election of officers again. I'd be happy to continue this role, I'm sure the other folks would, but you know, this is not an emperorship, so if you guys have somebody who wants to do this position, and that's fine too, we take nomination everything next month. And then with that attachment, they also put in, I made a couple copies in case people didn't get them.
The ethics rules.
Ethics, Robert's Rules of Order for running these meetings and things you can do and things you can't do. That's all I have under new business. Does anybody have anything else on the other business?
Well, the only other thing I will mention is, we're most of the way through. We did get an award, I think I mentioned it last meeting, from the Office of the Arts, supporting arts program, $1,000, given the size of our organization and budget. This year, for some reason, the town attorney asked that I review my $1,000 grant with the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, and RTM. So I've managed to get through all those folks. Yesterday was the RTM committee meeting. I didn't get any questions. I say I should return the money. Hopefully they'll approve it on the 25th so that the first selectman can sign. I did turn in our 2024 final report, so I guess we're still in good stead. That's it.
I do want to compliment Matt's picture. It's really lovely. So Matt, just saying hi.
Hey,
How was the
sorry,
last?
I had a change of plans, family thing come up through it, but I'm here and I've heard you, so thanks.
Awesome, thanks, man.
How was the last one, sir? 'cause I couldn't attend.
It went well. Matt, you want to talk about the mixer in your place?
Sure, yeah, it was subtle. It wasn't a huge turnout. I think the launch, it took a while for us all to launch, but it was great. There was some fruitful conversations. It was a good atmosphere, and people expressed that they were happy that we were continuing this tradition. So yeah, I think it was super positive, and it was exciting for the venue, and some interesting folks came out. So I definitely appreciate the work that went into it. We love to keep it alive.
The one learning I think is that Saturday night may not be.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. We have had it on a variety of different nights. So maybe we can probably, I mean, part of that was the host venue in terms of complementing or pairing with something going on there, but yeah, we'll definitely think about that.
Yeah, I also think one of the things that we could do is offer something else with the mixer. I mean, the guest speaker again, something that we can bring the artists and whatever. So I think there's something we can do just to bring it up a notch. I don't know.
Watch out, Sam,
I'm not volunteering.
It says bring it up a notch, you gotta work.
in charge of guest speaker relations.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now we move on to public comment. There's a lot of people here from the public. If there's more than one person on the same topic, hopefully you have a spokesperson.
I'll talk.
Or you can all talk, and just remember, this is all being recorded, so speak up so you can hear you.
Jennifer?
Oh, hi. So Sam Goldstein, your initiative telling me to go out and get a group together of people that want to be a part of the public to head towards the idea of a Friends of Fairfield, whether it's actually called, our group is called that or not, but this is about half or maybe a little more than the group. We've been meeting for a few months talking about what we'd like to do as artists and supporters of arts. And I just said, as Mark had encouraged, come to the meeting. So I wanted them to hear how you guys operate, see what we want to do to support the commission, to support building the artist community, the vibe of downtown arts district, etc. So again, we've got a lot of talent here. Maybe you all know some people. And I'm just gonna back off and let you guys ask questions if you have any. Or
I'm just thankful that you're bringing this together and you're trying to get Fairfield artists going. I'm a member for Wayton, Ridgefield, New Canaan, and like Westport. Where's Fairfield? I've lived here for almost 40 years and did like participate in the banner project that was on Main Street a long time ago. And I think the Fairfield Theater Company had some art shows. I participated in that. So I'm thrilled to see this happening in our town, and I thank you. And I want to help.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I can tell you one thing you guys can help with, because I've been telling first selectmen since I got in this chair, the funding. So when it comes time when we go for that $25,000,
Yeah.
the more voters that are in the gallery when we ask for that money, the better it is.
when is the vote?
Oh, we don't know, but I will definitely.
We'll let you know. The more bodies there, the more people they see who voted for them.
Yeah, we haven't even, the Board of Selectmen hasn't even, we haven't had department head meetings for the budget yet, so.
The budgets don't come
It'll
out
be in the
until.
spring.
Till the spring.
Yeah, exactly. So the budget goes to the RTM in spring, and then the public can come and speak and comment at that time.
And we'll all be in support of it.
Yep. But typically, they don't allow a lot of people speaking at $25,000. It's mostly on education, but it's still.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll figure out ways in which,
We'll get it done.
we can get this.
I'll take the letter R.
Yeah, they end up.
Are you planning on doing any more grant applications?
We will, we don't have a grant writer at the moment, so it's just me.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I think that artists should learn how to write grants, and if there was a way to get the artists in the community to get involved with that process, then they could learn by doing.
Yeah, I just found out the town grants writer that we had left, so it's news to me.
I put the supporting arts grant application in for the town because the art grants coordinator left, but.
You sound like Sam now, you're volunteering again.
I have a disease. It's not curable.
The art of writing grants.
If there's other things, we were just, actually Sam and I were talking before the meeting started about, opportunities to provide professional development for artists or what artists might need in that realm. So if there are other things that you think that aren't being met by some other organization locally, because one of the things we talked about is, we're a small group, we don't have a lot of money at the moment. So the thought is, how can we, first identify what the needs are and then determine if there are others out there that are providing this content, that we just provide greater awareness about those opportunities. But if not, then we might have to step in and create the content if others aren't stepping up to the plate. So part of it is just figuring out what kind of things you might need to help further your art, and how we can be helpful. So that's kind of the thought. But if grant writing, we probably could put some together. Once we have a grant writer, I'm sure she could or he will spill the beans on the secrets there.
They don't have to live in Fairfield, do they?
No.
Okay, they have somewhere.
I don't know where they are in the process. I'm actually far removed from the hiring thing. So, but I know they're looking for somebody.
Oh, sorry, that's me.
And that would be great. So I don't have to do it. Other things.
I just have a little thing, just curious, because the arts challenge is new to me. This is my.
New to us too, so you're not alone.
Before I get into all this, I was just curious if it's free for students to submit, because it doesn't really say in the press release whether or not you have to pay to submit your artwork as a student, or if that's kind of.
That will be free. We will have a low cost of entry. No. Cost of entry.
Perfect. Cool. That's
We haven't. We've got a couple logistical things to solve on the back end. It's we're kind of building the plan as we're flying it, but we do have to figure out next. Besides where we're going to have this mixer, where we're planning to display the art, because we really want to make celebrate all the submissions and allow people to see what amazing talent we have in town. So that'll be our next task that I'm working on as well.
And we will add the admission is free to the template that Michelle's gonna be reading.
perfect. Thank you.
Anything else from the public? You guys have gone to some, most of you have been at one or two of our mixers. We've had 4 so far. Any thoughts on what you'd like to see at those mixers? I know that we had the first one in Fairfield, theater company, and
I feel like we need an icebreaker, because I don't really know anyone, and I can go up to someone and introduce myself, but I need like an icebreaker or an activity or.
So it's like some kind of organized thing to start.
Yeah, instead of just walking in and just praying someone's gonna talk to you.
yeah, we kind of did that at the first one we had in April at Fairfield Theater Company. We had over 100 people there, right?
I was there.
That was a workshop. Yeah,
it was a workshop. I mean, people sat at tables, got to know each other. There was a
I think
conversation.
breaking down into those smaller groups at the table was very helpful.
Okay.
Wound up sitting at a table with, I knew most everybody. And some people I didn't know, which was much better than walking into a room of 20 or 30. I mean,
how many were at the April workshop that we had at FTC here?
Of our group.
Yeah.
Wait, the big one?
The big one.
The inaugural one, yeah.
Okay.
So 3.
Okay. And then has everyone been to at least one of our mixers?
I went when you were at the
Black Rock Theater?
no.
Quick Center.
That's where I met Jennifer.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I met Jennifer.
I was at that one as well.
That was our.
I thought it was a really nice
better
event.
Yeah.
I felt similarly, even if it's not a formal icebreaker, maybe to have someone on the commission kind of be facilitating introductions or, kind of bringing people together.
Okay. Good feedback. Thank
So I'm
you.
on the board of New England Foundation, New England Arts Presenters, and we just created affinity groups. I wonder if it would be helpful to say like visual arts and performing arts, just chatting then and then having the commission facilitate or something to that effect, or is that something that would, or no, just more of like
I'm
an
not sure
icebreaker?
what you're saying.
So like, there's a table that's for people who are more interested in the visual arts versus more people who are more interested in the performing arts, or I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, if we got to that point where we had.
Yeah.
that many folks, that would be great, yeah. Yeah, maybe that would be another way if folks wanted to identify maybe their
Yeah, on their tag.
art specialty or medium or some form that they're specializing in, we could include that on a name tag or something, I don't know. With crazy
I actually
ideas.
just had a thought, on the night of December 5th, after the challenge, the Artistic Vision Challenge, you're gonna have a lot of artists in the room,
You sure will.
okay?
Hopefully.
So I think, well, we have some committed. I think they'll show up, those who actually committed. So I'm thinking, what about after that? That there's a little something somewhere.
Meet and greet type of.
You mean alcohol?
Yeah. Not necessarily, but like, but you know, like if we, because they'll wanna stay in chat.
Yeah, we could do that.
And so maybe that would be a good night to just kind of transition into
Yeah, I agree.
a little something.
And anybody can go to that, right? As long as.
Yeah,
So it's open
It's
16.
open and free, it's a free event, open to the public. It's
Yes.
an event space
Yeah, great.
upstairs in the bookstore.
It's our next mixer.
Another
That's
thought,
it, but
another thought about the mixers is to provide the artists with an opportunity to mention if they're showing their work anywhere locally. So that would be another conversation starter and kind of getting people to interact with one another.
I mean, we could take a bigger role, you know, one of us could stand up. I mean, we've had pretty small groups and just, you know, lead everybody and say who you are, say what you do, say what you're exhibiting, you know, before the whole thing breaks up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't know if you noticed, but all the mixers, we always had, if artists brought their own, like whatever the gallery they were presenting at, they had their placard or whatever, they put them on the table. So people would grab from the different artists.
It's all great feedback, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, we appreciate that. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Come on, get here 10 minutes early.